Marcus Williams pushed his cleaning cart down the hallway of Lincoln High School, his movements practiced and efficient after 12 years on the job. It was 3:45 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon in early October, and most students had left for the day. This was Marcus's favorite time. The school was quiet, he could clean thoroughly without rushing, and he could work in peace. At 56, Marcus took pride in his work. He wasn't just a janitor, he was a caretaker of the school environment, where hundreds of teenagers learned and grew. He kept the floors spotless, the bathrooms clean, the classrooms ready for the next day. Teachers appreciated him, students mostly ignored him, which was fine. Marcus preferred working in the background. He entered the second-floor girls' bathroom, knocked loudly and called out maintenance to ensure no one was inside, then propped the door open and began his cleaning routine. He'd done this thousands of times: spray the mirrors, wipe them down, clean the sinks, mop the floors, restock supplies. As Marcus wiped down the large mirror over the sink area, something caught his eye. A small piece of paper was wedged between the mirror's edge and the wall, barely visible. It looked like it had been deliberately hidden there rather than accidentally dropped. Marcus carefully pulled the paper free. It was a piece of lined notebook paper, crumpled and wrinkled as if it had been handled nervously many times. The handwriting was neat but shaky, written in blue ink. "He's going to kill me tonight. I know he is. He said if I ever tell anyone or try to leave, he'll kill me and make it look like an accident. I can't go home. Please someone find this and help me. I don't know what else to do." Room 2047, Marcus felt his blood run cold. This wasn't a dramatic teenage exaggeration or a prank. The handwriting showed genuine terror. The letters were uneven, some words smudged as if the writer had been crying, and the specific details make it look like an accident. Room 2047, the desperation of hiding a note hoping someone would find it, all indicated this was a real cry for help. Room 2047, that was a homeroom number. Each student at Lincoln High was assigned a homeroom where they started each day and where announcements and administrative matters were handled. Room 2047 was Mrs. Peterson's homeroom. Marcus immediately left the bathroom and went to the main office, asking to see Principal Janet Morrison. The administrative assistant said the principal was in a meeting, but Marcus insisted it was urgent. "I found something that suggests a student might be in danger. It's urgent. The principal needs to see this immediately." The assistant's expression changed when she saw Marcus's serious face. She knocked on the principal's door and whispered something. Moments later, Principal Morrison emerged, along with school counselor Rachel Chen. "Marcus, what's going on?" Principal Morrison asked, concerned. Marcus handed her the note. "I found this hidden behind a mirror in the second-floor girls' bathroom. Someone deliberately put it there, hoping it would be found." Mentions Room 24/7. Principal Morrison and Rachel Chen read the note, their faces growing increasingly alarmed. "Room 24/7 is my homeroom," Mrs. Peterson said, having joined them after being summoned from her classroom. "The note is signed Byte A. I have 3 students with names starting with A in that homeroom: Anna Parker, Ashley Chen, and Alyssa Rodriguez. We need to identify who wrote this immediately," Rachel Chen said, her voice urgent. "If a student is being threatened with murder and is planning not to go home tonight, we need to intervene before school ends today." Principal Morrison made a quick decision. "Rachel, pull the files for all 3 students. Look for any documented concerns, counseling visits, behavioral issues, signs of abuse, anything. Mrs. Peterson, do any of those 3 students stand out to you as potentially experiencing problems at home?" Ashley and Alyssa both seem well adjusted, good grades, involved in activities, normal social interactions. Anna Parker is quieter, more withdrawn. She used to be more outgoing freshman year, but this year she's been increasingly isolated. She wears long sleeves even when it's warm. She seems anxious, jumpy. I've been concerned about her, but haven't had concrete evidence of a problem. That's Anna Parker," Rachel Chen said, pulling up a file on her computer. 15 years old, sophomore. "I see here that 2 teachers filed concerns last month, noting Anna appeared to have bruises on her arms and seemed frightened. I spoke with Anna briefly. She said the bruises were from volleyball practice and there were no problems at home. I didn't push further because she was adamant everything was fine." Classic abuse victim response, Principal Morrison said grimly, too scared to disclose because of threats. "Marcus, what time did you find this note?" "Just now, about 10 minutes ago." "School ends at 3:30. It's 3:50 now. If Anna's still in the building, we need to find her before she leaves. If she's already gone." Principal Morrison didn't finish the sentence, but everyone understood. If Anna had already left for home, and if the threat in her note was real, she might be in immediate danger. "I'll check the attendance office to see if Anna's still here," the administrative assistant said, immediately picking up the phone. While they waited, Marcus spoke up. "After I found the note, I was coming to the office when I passed a girl in the hallway near the library. She had dark hair, was wearing a hoodie despite it being 75 degrees outside, and she looked scared. She was walking quickly, checking behind her. I didn't think much of it at the time, but now, could that have been Anna?" Mrs. Peterson pulled up Anna's school photo on her computer. "Is this her?" Marcus looked at the photo and nodded immediately. "Yes, that's the girl I saw. She was heading toward the back exit near the gym." Principal Morrison grabbed her radio. "Security, this is Principal Morrison. I need you to locate student Anna Parker immediately. Sophomore, dark hair, possibly wearing a hoodie. She may be near the back gym exit. This is urgent. Potential safety issue. If you locate her, bring her to my office immediately, but approach gently. Do not alarm her." The security officer's voice crackled back. "Copy that. Searching now." The next 10 minutes felt endless. Everyone in the principal's office waited tensely, hoping Anna was still in the building and could be found before she left for home to whatever danger awaited her there. Finally, the radio crackled. "I've got her. She was in the parking lot, but I caught her before she reached the bus, bringing her to your office now." "Thank God," Rachel Chen breathed. A few minutes later, the security officer arrived with Anna Parker. She was a small, thin girl with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She was indeed wearing a hoodie despite the warm weather. Her eyes were red-rimmed from crying, and even from across the room, Marcus could see fresh bruises on her neck that the hoodie didn't quite cover. Anna looked terrified when she saw the group of adults waiting in the principal's office. "What's going on? I didn't do anything wrong. I just missed the bus and was going to walk." Principal Morrison spoke gently. "Anna, you're not in trouble. We're concerned about your safety. Can you come into my private office? We need to talk." Anna's face went white. She looked like she might bolt. Rachel Chen stepped forward, her voice calm and soothing. "Anna, I promise you're safe here. No one is going to hurt you. We just want to help. Will you come sit with me?" Anna's eyes darted between the adults, then landed on the note sitting on Principal Morrison's desk. Her face crumpled. "You found it. Oh God, you found my note." "Yes, honey, we found it," Rachel said gently, "and we're going to help you. Come on, let's go somewhere private where we can talk." Anna started crying, deep, gasping sobs that shook her small frame. Rachel guided her into Principal Morrison's private office, while Principal Morrison called 911. "This is Principal Janet Morrison at Lincoln High School, 5847 Peachtree Road. We have a 15-year-old student who left a note saying someone was going to kill her tonight. She has visible injuries consistent with abuse. We need police and child protective services here immediately." Marcus stood in the hallway outside the office, his hands shaking. He'd found the note less than 20 minutes ago. If he'd ignored it, if he'd thrown it away thinking it was just teenage drama, if he'd decided it wasn't his business, Anna might have gone home tonight to whatever danger awaited her there. Sometimes paying attention to small things, a crumpled note hidden behind a mirror, saved lives. Inside Principal Morrison's private office, Anna Parker sat on a couch with Rachel Chen beside her. Principal Morrison sat in a nearby chair, her posture open and non-threatening. A box of tissues sat on the coffee table, and Anna had gone through half of them already. "Anna, I know you're scared," Rachel said gently, "but you're safe right now. No one can hurt you here. Police are on their way, and they're going to make sure you stay safe. Can you tell us what's happening at home?" Anna's whole body was shaking. "He's going to kill me. When he finds out I told someone, he's going to kill me." "Who is going to kill you, Anna?" "My dad, David Parker. He's been hurting me for years, but it's gotten so much worse. Last night She couldn't finish the sentence, dissolving into sobs again. Rachel and Principal Morrison exchanged glances. This was even worse than they'd feared. "Anna, I need to ask you some difficult questions," Rachel said carefully. "Has your father been physically hurting you?" Anna nodded, pulling up her sleeves to reveal bruises in various stages of healing, fresh purple ones, fading yellow ones, some almost healed. There were marks on her forearms that looked like fingerprints, where someone had grabbed her forcefully. "He hits me, pushes me, throws things at me. He choked me last night." Anna pulled down the collar of her hoodie slightly, revealing dark bruises around her neck consistent with strangulation. "He had his hands around my throat, and he said I could kill you right now, and no one would care. You're worthless. I thought he was going to do it. I couldn't breathe. I was passing out. Then he just let go, and he laughed. Rachel felt sick but kept her voice calm. Has your father hurt you sexually, Anna? Anna's silence was answer enough. Fresh tears streamed down her face. Anna, I know this is incredibly hard to talk about, but we need to know what's happened so we can protect you and make sure your father faces consequences. Has your father sexually abused you? Since I was 12, Anna whispered. It started after my mum died. She had cancer, and when she died, Dad started drinking more and getting angry more, and then he started touching me. At first he said it was just comfort because we both missed Mum. Then it got worse. He said if I ever told anyone he'd kill me. He said no one would believe me anyway because he's a successful lawyer and I'm just a stupid kid. Rachel and Principal Morrison were both fighting to control their expressions and emotions. This was severe, long-term abuse, physical, sexual and psychological. Anna had been suffering for 3 years, trapped with an abusive father who'd threatened to kill her if she disclosed. Last night was the worst it's ever been, Anna continued, her voice hollow. He was drunk and angry about something at work. He beat me worse than usual. Then he raped me, and while he was doing it he kept saying he should just kill me and be done with it, that I was more trouble than I was worth. After he passed out, I locked myself in the bathroom and wrote that note. I was going to run away tonight. I don't know where I'd go, but I can't go back there. He's going to kill me. I know he is. A knock on the door interrupted them. The administrative assistant peeked in. Police and Child Protective Services are here. 2 police officers, a male and female patrol team, entered along with a CPS caseworker named Jennifer Martinez. Rachel quickly briefed them on Anna's disclosure while Anna sat crying quietly on the couch. The female officer, Officer Sarah Johnson, knelt beside Anna. Anna, I'm Officer Johnson. You are so brave for telling us what's happening. I want you to know that you're safe now. Your father cannot hurt you anymore. We're going to arrest him, and you're not going to have to go back to that house. Do you understand? Anna nodded, but her eyes showed she didn't quite believe it yet. She'd been trapped for so long, convinced escape was impossible. Anna, we need to take you to the hospital, Officer Johnson explained gently. You need a medical examination to document your injuries and to make sure you're physically okay. I know that's scary, but the doctors and nurses will be gentle and kind, and Jennifer here from CPS is going to stay with you the whole time. She's going to help make sure you're placed somewhere safe while we deal with your father. What about school? Anna asked, her voice small. I have a history test tomorrow. The adults in the room felt their hearts break a little. This 15-year-old girl had been beaten, strangled and raped last night, had written a desperate plea for help, and was still worried about a history test. The normality of that concern in the midst of such trauma was jarring. Don't worry about school right now, Principal Morrison said kindly. We'll work everything out. Your only job is to take care of yourself and let us help you. Officer Johnson's partner, Officer Mike Rodriguez, was already on his radio coordinating the arrest of David Parker. Dispatch, I need detectives from the Special Victims Unit and additional units to execute an arrest at. He got the address from Anna. Suspect is David Parker, adult male, attorney, potentially armed and dangerous. Charges will include child abuse, sexual assault of a minor, strangulation. Victim is currently safe at Lincoln High School. Within minutes, a coordinated response was underway. Detective Lisa Park from the SVU would interview Anna in detail. Officers would arrest David Parker at his law office. Anna confirmed he was at work, not home. A forensic examination would document Anna's injuries. CPS would arrange emergency foster placement. Before Anna left with Officer Johnson and Jennifer Martinez to go to the hospital, she looked back at the adults in the principal's office. Thank you for finding my note. I didn't think anyone would. I didn't know what else to do. You did exactly the right thing, Rachel Chen told her. You asked for help the only way you could, and we're going to make sure you get all the help you need. After Anna left with the officer and CPS worker, Marcus Williams, who'd been waiting in the hallway, was brought in to give a formal statement about finding the note. Mr. Williams, you saved that girl's life today, Detective Park told him after taking his statement. If you'd ignored that note or thrown it away, Anna would have gone home tonight to a father who'd already strangled her and threatened to kill her. There's a high likelihood he would have escalated to murder. Your attention to detail and willingness to report what you found prevented that. Marcus felt overwhelmed. I was just doing my job, cleaning a bathroom. The note was there and I read it, and I knew it was serious. I couldn't just ignore it. But many people would have ignored it, Principal Morrison said. They would have assumed it was teenage drama or not wanted to get involved. You immediately brought it to us, and that immediate action saved Anna's life. David Parker was arrested at his law office 2 hours after Anna's note was found. The arrest was carefully coordinated. David was a successful attorney with connections and resources, and investigators wanted to ensure he didn't have time to flee or destroy evidence. Detectives Lisa Park and James Sullivan arrived at Parker & Associates law firm at 5:15 p.m., accompanied by uniformed officers. They found David Parker in his corner office working at his computer, appearing to be a normal, successful professional. David was tall, well-dressed in an expensive suit, with graying hair and a confident demeanor. Nothing about his appearance suggested he was a violent child abuser and rapist. "David Parker," Detective Park asked. "Yes, can I help you?" David's tone was polite but slightly annoyed at the interruption. "I'm Detective Park, this is Detective Sullivan. We need you to come with us." David's expression changed to confusion. "What's this about? I'm in the middle of your under arrest for child abuse, sexual assault and attempted murder of your daughter, Anna Parker." For a split second, David's mask slipped. His eyes flashed with rage and something dark. Then he quickly recovered, adopting an expression of shocked innocence. "What? That's insane. Anna? My daughter? I would never. This is some kind of mistake. Anna has behavioral problems. She lies for attention. Whatever she's told you isn't true. We have physical evidence of severe abuse," Detective Sullivan said coldly. "Bruises, strangulation marks, evidence of sexual assault, and we have your daughter's detailed statement. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent." As Sullivan read David his rights, David's attorney persona kicked in. "I'm not saying anything without my lawyer present. This is a false accusation. Anna has mental health issues. She's angry that I won't let her date a boy she likes. She's retaliating by making up lies. You're making a huge mistake. Classic abuser deflection. Deny everything. Blame the victim. Claim the victim is lying or mentally unstable." David was handcuffed and led out of his office. His colleagues watched in shock as he was escorted through the law firm and out to a police car. The successful, respected attorney was being arrested for raping and beating his own daughter. No one could believe it, but detectives had learned long ago that abusers often appeared completely normal to the outside world. They held good jobs, maintained respectable facades, were charming and personable in public. The abuse happened behind closed doors where no one could see. David Parker was booked into jail on multiple felony charges: aggravated child abuse, multiple counts; sexual assault of a minor, multiple counts; attempted murder for the strangulation that Anna described; terroristic threats; cruelty to children. Bail was set at $500,000 given the severity of the charges and the risk David posed to Anna if released. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Anna underwent a comprehensive forensic medical examination. The sexual assault nurse examiner, Saini, documented multiple bruises in various stages of healing covering Anna's body, ligature marks around her neck consistent with strangulation, evidence of forceful sexual assault, signs of chronic malnutrition and stress, psychological trauma. The physical evidence is consistent with long-term severe abuse, the Saini nurse told detectives. This child has been systematically brutalized for an extended period. The strangulation is particularly concerning. Strangulation is a significant predictor of eventual homicide in domestic violence cases. Anna's fear that her father was planning to kill her was well-founded. A search warrant was executed at David Parker's home. Investigators found Anna's bedroom with a lock on the outside. David locked her in at night. Winner eat all food in the house. David restricted Anna's eating. Anna's journals describing years of abuse. David's computer containing disturbing search history about making deaths look accidental. Empty alcohol bottles throughout the house. Evidence that Anna had been isolated. No computer access. Cell phone confiscated. Not allowed to have friends over. This house was a prison for Anna, Detective Park told her team. David controlled every aspect of her life. She was isolated, abused, threatened, and convinced she had no escape. Writing that note and hiding it at school was an act of desperate courage. Over the following days, Anna provided detailed statements to investigators, describing 3 years of escalating abuse that began after her mother's death. "Mum died from cancer when I was 12, Anna told Detective Park during a recorded interview at the Children's Advocacy Center. "For a few months after, Dad was just sad. We were both sad, but then he started drinking more, getting angry more. He lost his temper over little things, if dinner wasn't ready on time, if I was too loud, if I didn't clean something properly. The abuse had started with verbal and emotional attacks. David would scream at Anna, call her names, tell her she was worthless and that her mother would be ashamed of her. Then it escalated to physical abuse, slapping, pushing, eventually beating her with his belt or his fists. He'd hit me and then cry and apologize," Anna explained. "He'd say he didn't mean it, that he just missed Mum so much and was stressed about work. He'd promise it wouldn't happen again, but it always did. And each time it got worse. When Anna was 13, the abuse became sexual.
It started with inappropriate touching that David claimed was just affection. Then it progressed to assault. He said it was our secret, Anna said, crying. He said I had to make him feel better because we'd both lost Mum. He said it was normal for fathers and daughters to be close this way. But I knew it was wrong. I felt so dirty and ashamed. Anna had tried to tell a teacher in 8th grade that something was wrong at home, but she'd been too scared to give details. The teacher had asked if everything was okay, and Anna, terrified of her father's threats, had said yes, everything was fine. Dad found out I'd talked to a teacher. He monitors my email and goes through my backpack. He beat me so badly I had to miss school for 3 days. He said if I ever told anyone anything, he'd kill me and make it look like a suicide. He said no one would believe me anyway, because he's a lawyer and knows how to manipulate the system. After that I was too scared to tell anyone. The abuse continued and intensified over the next 2 years. David isolated Anna further. She wasn't allowed to do extracurricular activities, wasn't allowed to have friends, couldn't go anywhere except school. At home, she was essentially a prisoner. He locked me in my room at night, Anna explained. Sometimes he'd leave me locked in there all weekend with barely any food. He said I didn't deserve to eat because I was a burden. Other times he'd come into my room at night and do things to me. I'd lie there praying he'd just leave me alone. The escalation to strangulation had happened 3 nights before Anna wrote the note. David had come home extremely drunk and angry about losing a case at work. He blamed Anna for distracting him and not being supportive enough. He punched me multiple times, then he grabbed my throat and started choking me, Anna said, touching her neck unconsciously. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to die. Everything was going black. He was saying I should just kill you. You're worthless anyway. No one would miss you. Then suddenly he let go. I collapsed on the floor, gasping. He just laughed and walked away. That night, Anna had locked herself in the bathroom and written the desperate note. She'd hidden it at school the next day, hoping someone would find it. She'd had no other plan. She just knew she couldn't survive much longer in that house. I was planning to run away, Anna admitted. I didn't know where I'd go, maybe try to sleep in the park or something. I just knew I couldn't go home that night. He was going to kill me eventually. I could see it in his eyes. He was tired of keeping me around, and he was planning to get rid of me. Detective Park had interviewed hundreds of abuse victims in her career, but Anna's case was one of the most severe. The combination of physical, sexual, and psychological abuse over 3 years, the escalation to strangulation, a significant predictor of homicide, and Anna's genuine, well-founded fear for her life made this a critical case. Anna, you are incredibly brave, Detective Park told her. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you survived 3 years of horrible abuse, and you found a way to ask for help. That took tremendous courage, and because you did, your father can't hurt you anymore. He's in jail, and he's going to stay there. As investigators built the case against David Parker, they also examined how Anna had fallen through multiple cracks in systems designed to protect children. School warning signs missed. Lincoln High School records showed multiple concerning indicators over 2 years that hadn't been adequately investigated. Sophomore year, 2 teachers had filed concerns about bruises on Anna's arms. September and October, school counselor Rachel Chen had spoken with Anna briefly. Anna denied any problems. Anna's grades had dropped from A's to C's and D's over the past year. Attendance issues. Anna had been absent more frequently, often with notes from her father. Behavioral changes. Anna had gone from outgoing freshman to withdrawn, isolated sophomore. Clothing choices. Anna consistently wore long sleeves and high necklines, even in warm weather. In retrospect, the signs were there, Principal Morrison admitted during the investigation review. But we didn't connect the dots. Individual teachers noticed individual things, but no one put it all together to see the pattern. And when the counselor asked Anna if she was okay, Anna said yes. We didn't push harder because we didn't want to be invasive if there wasn't a real problem. This is a common pattern in missed abuse cases. Individual warning signs are noticed, but not synthesized into a comprehensive picture. And when victims deny abuse because they're scared or threatened, systems often accept that denial rather than investigating further. Medical warning signs missed. Anna's medical records showed she'd been to the emergency room twice in the past 2 years. Anna, age 13, treated for a broken arm. David claimed Anna had fallen off her bike. Age 14, treated for a concussion. David claimed Anna had fallen downstairs. Both injuries were consistent with abuse, but hospital staff had accepted David's explanations. Anna, too frightened to disclose, had corroborated her father's lies. Abuse victims often protect their abusers, explained Dr. Patricia Martinez, an expert in child abuse pediatrics. They're afraid of retaliation. They're trauma-bonded to the abuser. They've been conditioned to lie to protect the family secret. Medical professionals need to be more suspicious of injuries with explanations that don't quite add up, especially when there's a pattern. CPS contact missed. Most troubling, CPS had actually been called about the Parker family once, a year ago. A neighbor had reported hearing screaming and sounds of violence from the house late at night. A CPS worker had interviewed David, who was charming and professional, and spoken briefly with Anna while David was present. Anna, terrified, had said everything was fine. The case was closed as unfounded. The CPS worker should have interviewed Anna separately, out of David's presence, said CPS supervisor Robert Chen, reviewing the case. A victim can't disclose abuse with their abuser right there. This was a missed opportunity to protect Anna. The isolation strategy. David had deliberately isolated Anna to prevent her from disclosing. No cell phone. David claimed Anna was irresponsible with it, and it had been confiscated. No computer access at home. Not allowed to do activities, or have friends over. Monitored constantly. David checked her backpack, read her journals, questioned her about conversations at school. Isolation is a classic abuse tactic, explained domestic violence expert Dr. Jennifer Park. Abusers cut off victims from potential help sources. Anna had no way to call for help, no one she could confide in safely, no escape routes. She was completely controlled by her father. The only thing David couldn't control was Anna's time at school. That's why hiding a note in a school bathroom was Anna's best option for seeking help.
Marcus Williams found himself processing the experience in the days after finding Anna's note. He'd been a janitor at Lincoln High for 12 years, invisible to most students and staff, just quietly doing his job. Now he was being called a hero for finding a piece of paper hidden behind a mirror. "I keep thinking about all the times I might have walked past Anna in the hallways," Marcus told his wife Gloria that weekend. "She would have been just another student to me, someone I saw but didn't really notice. If I'd looked closer, could I have seen something was wrong? Could I have helped her sooner?" "You helped her when it mattered most," Gloria reminded him. "You found her note when she desperately needed someone to find it. That's what counts." But Marcus couldn't stop thinking about it. The note had been hidden behind that mirror for at least a day, maybe longer. Students and staff had used that bathroom dozens of times. He himself had cleaned that bathroom earlier in the week. Anyone could have found the note, but they hadn't. He had. "What if I'd just thrown it away without reading it?" Marcus said. "What if I'd thought it was just trash or teenage drama?" Anna would have gone home that night to a father who was escalating toward murder. She'd probably be dead. The weight of that possibility, that one small decision, to read a crumpled piece of paper rather than throwing it away, had meant the difference between life and death for a 15-year-old girl was overwhelming. School counselor Rachel Chen reached out to Marcus a few days after Anna's rescue. "Marcus, I wanted to check on you. Finding that note and being part of Anna's rescue, that's a heavy experience. How are you handling it?" "I don't know," Marcus admitted. "I'm grateful I found the note, but I keep thinking about all the signs we all must have missed. Anna was being abused for years right here at this school. How did none of us notice enough to stop it sooner?" "We all missed it," Rachel said sadly. "I saw Anna after teachers reported bruises. I asked if she was okay. She said yes. I didn't push harder. I should have. We all should have paid more attention, but you did pay attention when it mattered most. You found her literal cry for help, and you immediately brought it to the right people. That decisive action saved her life." Marcus thought about his role at the school. As a janitor, he was part of the invisible support staff, people who kept the school running, but who were often overlooked. Students didn't really see him. Teachers were polite but distant. He cleaned up after everyone, and then went home, but maybe that invisibility gave him a different perspective. He saw things others didn't notice. He found things others overlooked, including a desperate note hidden in a bathroom. "I'm just glad I was paying attention," Marcus finally said. Principal Morrison called an emergency staff meeting to discuss Anna's case and what the school could have done better. The meeting was somber, with teachers and staff struggling with the knowledge that a student had been suffering terribly and they'd missed the signs. "We failed Anna," Principal Morrison said bluntly. Multiple staff members noticed concerning signs, bruises, behavioral changes, grade drops, isolation, but we didn't connect those signs into a comprehensive picture. When Anna denied there were problems, we accepted that denial. We need to do better. The school implemented new protocols, mandatory training for all staff on recognizing abuse signs, a coordinated reporting system where concerning observations are logged centrally rather than handled individually, more aggressive follow-up when students deny problems despite clear warning signs, private interviews with students away from potential abusers when abuse is suspected, enhanced screening questions during routine counselor check-ins, anonymous reporting mechanisms for students who need help but are afraid to disclose direct. Marcus Williams saved Anna by finding her note, Principal Morrison told the staff, but we all should have been paying closer enough attention that Anna never needed to hide a desperate note in a bathroom. We're implementing these changes so that we catch abuse earlier, before it escalates to life-threatening situations. Marcus was asked to speak at the staff meeting about finding the note. He was uncomfortable being in the spotlight, but he agreed because he wanted to emphasize an important point. "I'm a janitor," Marcus told the assembled teachers and staff. "Most students don't even notice me. I clean bathrooms, mop floors, empty trash, but that job puts me in every corner of this school. I see things, and I want everyone here to understand we all see things. Teachers see students every day, counselors talk to students, administrative staff interact with them. Coaches work with them, cafeteria workers serve them, security monitors them. Every single person in this building has opportunities to notice when something's wrong with a student." Anna wrote a note and hid it in a bathroom, hoping someone would find it. "I happened to be the one who did, but any of us could have been the one to notice she was struggling. Any of us could have asked the right questions, pushed past her denials, investigated more thoroughly when warning signs appeared. We all need to be paying attention, because sometimes a kid's life depends on it." The staff meeting ended with a renewed commitment to vigilance and a shared understanding that protecting students was everyone's responsibility, from the principal to the newest janitor. Anna Parker's journey from rescued victim to healing survivor was long and complex. The immediate crisis getting her away from her father was just the beginning. Immediate placement. Anna was placed in emergency foster care with the Morrison family, experienced foster parents who specialized in caring for trauma survivors. Linda and James Morrison had fostered over 30 children over 15 years and understood the complexities of helping an abused child begin healing. "Anna is safe here," Linda told CPS caseworker Jennifer Martinez. "She can stay as long as she needs. We'll provide stability, safety and support while she processes what she's been through." The first few nights were difficult. Anna barely slept, plagued by nightmares. She was hypervigilant, constantly checking locks and windows. She startled at sudden noises. She had trouble eating, having been conditioned by her father's food restriction and punishment. "This is all normal trauma response," explained Dr. Patricia Santos, the therapist assigned to Anna's case. Anna's nervous system learned that home wasn't safe, that an adult male authority figure could hurt her at any time. Even though she's objectively safe now, her body and brain are still in survival mode. It takes time to feel safe again. Medical treatment. Beyond the immediate forensic examination, Anna needed ongoing medical care. She was severely malnourished from years of inadequate food. She had untreated dental problems. She needed treatment for injuries that had healed improperly. She was prescribed medication for depression and anxiety that were direct results of the chronic trauma. Anna's physical health suffered significantly from the abuse, explained her pediatrician, Dr. Michael Chen. The malnutrition affected her growth and development. The stress affected her immune system. The injuries caused chronic pain. We're addressing all of it, but some effects may be permanent. Psychological treatment. Dr. Santos specialized in trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy for abuse survivors. Anna attended therapy twice a week, working through processing traumatic memories without being overwhelmed, challenging guilt and self-blame. Anna felt responsible for the abuse, developing coping skills for managing PTSD symptoms, rebuilding sense of safety and control, understanding that her father's abuse was his choice, not her fault, learning to trust adults again after profound betrayal. The sexual abuse is particularly complex to process, Dr. Santos explained to Jennifer Martinez. Anna experienced incest by her father, someone who should have protected her but instead violated her. That creates profound confusion about trust, relationships and her own worth. Healing from that takes extensive, specialized therapy. Anna also struggled with complicated feelings about her father. "I hate him for what he did to me," Anna told Dr. Santos, "but sometimes I also miss him. Is that crazy? He was terrible to me, but he's still my dad. He wasn't always bad. Before Mum died, he was a good father. That's not crazy at all," Dr. Santos assured her. "Abuse is rarely 100% of the time. There were probably good moments mixed with the bad. You can miss the good parts while still recognizing that he was dangerous, and you're safer without him. Those feelings can coexist." School reintegration. Returning to Lincoln High School was anxiety-inducing for Anna. Everyone knew what had happened. Her father's arrest had made local news. Students whispered and stared. Some were sympathetic, others were cruel. A few blamed Anna for destroying her father's career. I heard Anna Parker made up lies about her dad because he wouldn't let her date someone, one student said in a bathroom, not knowing Anna was in a stall and could hear. That's such bullshit, another student countered. Did you see the bruises? The police wouldn't arrest a lawyer without evidence. Her dad was abusing her. Anna wanted to hide, to disappear, to never face anyone again, but Rachel Chen, the school counselor, worked closely with her to develop strategies for managing the attention and returning to normal routines. You have nothing to be ashamed of, Rachel told Anna repeatedly. Your father abused you. That was his choice, his crime, his shame, not yours. You survived, you're brave. Anyone who judges you doesn't understand trauma, and their opinion doesn't matter. Teachers were briefed on Anna's situation and instructed to provide support without singling her out. Accommodations were made. Anna could leave class if she felt overwhelmed. She had extended deadlines for assignments. She could eat lunch in the counseling office if the cafeteria was too stressful. Gradually, Anna began rebuilding a life. She reconnected with old friends she'd been forced to drop when her father isolated her. She joined the art club, discovering that creating art helped her process emotions. She started volunteering at an animal shelter, finding comfort in caring for rescued animals who, like her, had been hurt and needed safety. I'm not the same person I was before my father's abuse, Anna told Dr. Santos 6 months after her rescue. That innocent 12-year-old doesn't exist anymore. I'm someone who survived horrible things, but I'm also someone who's building a new life. I'm making art. I have friends. I'm doing okay in school. I'm healing. It's hard and it's slow, but I'm doing it. David Parker's trial began 18 months after his arrest. He'd been denied bail multiple times and remained in custody throughout the pre-trial period. His attorney had tried numerous strategies to get charges dismissed or reduced, but the evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution's case was built on physical evidence documented in the forensic examination, medical records showing suspicious injuries over time, evidence from David's home, locked bedroom, journals, computer searches, testimony from school staff about warning signs they'd observed, expert testimony about child abuse dynamics and trauma effects. David's defense strategy was to attack Anna's credibility. His attorney argued that Anna was an angry, mentally unstable teenager who'd fabricated abuse allegations to retaliate against her father for being strict. He claimed the injuries were from normal teenage accidents and that the sexual abuse allegations were complete fiction. Anna Parker is a troubled young woman with behavioral issues, David's attorney told the jury. She resented her father's rules and discipline. When he wouldn't let her date or do certain activities, she lashed out by making these outrageous accusations. This is a vindictive lie that's destroyed a good man's life and career, but the prosecution systematically demolished that defense. Anna testified for 2 full days, describing the abuse in heartbreaking detail. She was composed, articulate, and completely credible. When David's attorney tried to shake her testimony through aggressive cross-examination, Anna held firm. You claim your father sexually abused you for 3 years, the defense attorney challenged. If that were true, why didn't you tell anyone? Why wait until now? Because he threatened to kill me if I told, Anna said clearly. He said no one would believe me because he's a lawyer, and I'm just a kid. He said he'd make sure I looked crazy if I ever accused him. And he was right. You're trying to make me look crazy right now, but I'm telling the truth. He hurt me for 3 years, and I wrote that note asking for help because I knew he was going to kill me. Mr. Williams found my note and saved my life. The jury watched Anna's testimony with visible emotion. Several jurors were crying. This was clearly not a vindictive teenager making false accusations. This was a traumatized survivor telling the truth about horrific abuse. Medical experts testified about Anna's injuries and the clear pattern of long-term physical and sexual abuse. The physical evidence is absolutely consistent with Anna's account, testified Dr. Patricia Martinez, a child abuse pediatrician. She had injuries in various stages of healing, indicating repeated trauma over time. The strangulation marks were particularly concerning. Strangulation is a significant predictor of eventual homicide in abuse cases. Anna's fear that her father was planning to kill her was medically and statistically well-founded. Psychological experts testified about trauma effects and why victims often delay disclosure. It's very common for abuse victims, especially children being abused by parents, to not disclose immediately, explained Dr. Jennifer Park. They're afraid of retaliation. They're trauma bonded to the abuser. They've been conditioned to keep the abuse secret. Anna's delay in disclosure is entirely consistent with typical abuse victim behavior and does not indicate fabrication. Marcus Williams testified about finding the note. I was cleaning the second-floor girls' bathroom when I noticed a piece of paper wedged behind a mirror. I pulled it out and read it. It said, "He's going to kill me tonight. Please, someone help."
Room 2047. I immediately knew this was serious, not teenage drama, but a real cry for help. I took it straight to the principal. That decision ultimately saved Anna's life. Rachel Chen testified about the warning signs the school had observed and Anna's statement when confronted. Teachers testified about bruises they'd noticed, behavioral changes they'd observed, concerns they'd reported. The cumulative effect was devastating to David's defense. Witness after witness corroborated Anna's account and demonstrated the abuse was real, severe, and long-term. David took the stand in his own defense against his attorney's advice. He couldn't resist defending himself, convinced he could charm the jury as he'd charmed clients and colleagues for years. But under cross-examination, his true nature emerged. Mr. Parker, your daughter had bruises, strangulation marks, and evidence of sexual assault. How do you explain that? Anna is clumsy. She plays sports. She bruises easily. As for the sexual assault claims, they're complete fabrications. I never touched her inappropriately. Multiple medical professionals testified the injuries were consistent with abuse, not accidents. They're wrong, or they're biased. Everyone wants to believe the crying teenage girl. No one considers that she might be lying. Why would Anna lie? What would she gain? Freedom from rules, attention, revenge for being disciplined. Teenagers are manipulative. The prosecutor pressed harder. Mr. Parker, police found your computer search history included queries about making deaths look accidental. Can you explain that? David stumbled. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I research legal issues for cases. The searches occurred at 2 a.m., hours after you allegedly assaulted Anna. They included specific searches about staging accidents and avoiding murder investigations. That doesn't sound like legal research for a case. David had no good answer. His calm facade cracked, revealing anger underneath. You're twisting everything. I'm innocent. Anna is lying. This whole trial is a travesty. The jury saw exactly what the prosecutor wanted them to see. A controlling, angry man with a sense of entitlement and no remorse for his actions. The trial lasted 4 weeks. The jury deliberated for 8 hours before returning guilty verdicts on all counts. Multiple counts of child sexual abuse. Multiple counts of aggravated child abuse. Attempted murder for the strangulation. Cruelty to children. False imprisonment. David showed no emotion as the verdicts were read, maintaining his facade of dignified innocence, even as he was convicted of horrific crimes against his own daughter. At sentencing 6 weeks later, Anna provided a victim impact statement. She stood at the podium, faced her father directly, and spoke in a clear, strong voice. You were supposed to protect me. You were my father. After Mum died, I needed you more than ever. Instead, you hurt me. You beat me. You raped me. You locked me in my room. You starved me. You threatened to kill me. You made my life a living hell for 3 years. I wrote a note asking for help because I genuinely believed you were going to murder me. The medical experts said I was right. You were escalating toward homicide. If Mr. Williams hadn't found my note, I'd probably be dead. You tried to convince everyone I was lying. You tried to destroy my credibility and make me look crazy, but the jury saw the truth. You're guilty. You did all of this to me. I've spent the last 1.5 years in therapy, learning that what you did wasn't my fault, that I didn't deserve to be abused, that I have value and worth. You tried to destroy me, but you failed. I survived. I'm healing. I'm building a good life. You deserve the maximum sentence. Not just to punish you, but to protect any other child you might victimize in the future. You're dangerous, and you showed no remorse even when confronted with overwhelming evidence. You need to be in prison for the rest of your life. Judge Patricia Morrison sentenced David Parker to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 140 years on the various counts. Mr. Parker, you are the worst kind of predator, Judge Morrison said. You targeted the most vulnerable victim imaginable, your own child, who trusted you and depended on you for care. You physically abused her, sexually assaulted her repeatedly over 3 years, threatened to kill her, and nearly made good on that threat by strangling her. The only reason Anna Parker is alive today is because she found the courage to hide a note asking for help, and a janitor found that note and took it seriously. You showed no remorse during trial. You continue to blame your victim and claim innocence, despite overwhelming evidence of your guilt. You are dangerous and deserve to spend the rest of your life in prison, where you can never harm another child. The life sentence reflects the severity of your crimes and society's commitment to protecting children from predators like you. David Parker was led from the courtroom in shackles, finally convicted and sentenced for the years of abuse he'd inflicted on his daughter. Anna, sitting in the courtroom gallery with her foster parents and therapist, felt a weight lift. Her father could never hurt her again. Justice had been served. She could finally move forward with her healing. Anna Parker's case sparked significant reforms in how schools, medical professionals, and child protective services identify and respond to child abuse. The Williams Protocol for Schools, named after Marcus Williams, Massachusetts, implemented new requirements for schools. Coordinated observation system. All staff observations about concerning student behavior, logged in centralized database. System flags patterns, multiple observations about same student. Automatic alert to counselor when threshold of concerns reached. Monthly review meetings to discuss flag students. The Williams Protocol ensures schools connect the dots, explained Massachusetts Department of Education Commissioner Dr. Robert Martinez. Individual teachers might notice individual things, but now those observations are compiled centrally. Patterns become visible that might have been missed when observations were scattered. Mandatory private interviews. When abuse suspected, students must be interviewed privately, away from potential abusers. Trained interviewers use techniques to help victims feel safe disclosing. Students told explicitly they're safe and abuser cannot retaliate. Multiple interview sessions if student doesn't disclose initially. Anna denied abuse when initially asked because she was terrified of her father. Explained child abuse expert Dr. Jennifer Park. We need interview techniques that help children feel safe enough to disclose. Sometimes that takes multiple conversations building trust. Anonymous reporting for students. Multiple reporting options. Text, phone, web form, physical drop boxes. Resources provided on how to recognize abuse and seek help. Anna left a note in a bathroom because she had no other way to ask for help safely, said school safety consultant Patricia Santos. We need to provide students multiple ways to signal they need help, including anonymous options. Enhanced staff training. Will school personnel receive training on recognizing abuse? Specific focus on signs children are being isolated or controlled. Well-understanding trauma responses and why victims deny abuse. How to respond supportively when abuse is disclosed. Every person in a school, from teachers to janitors to cafeteria workers, needs to know abuse indicators, said Principal Morrison, who became a national advocate for school-based abuse prevention after Anna's case. Marcus Williams was a janitor who found a note, but he could just have easily noticed Anna seemed frightened, or observed bruises, or heard concerning comments. We need everyone paying attention. Medical profession reforms. The American Academy of Pediatrics updated guidelines for identifying abuse. Heightened scrutiny of injuries with explanations that don't match medical evidence. Mandatory abuse screening questions during all child-adolescent medical visits. Private time with patients away from parents to allow disclosure. Lower threshold for mandatory reporting of suspected abuse. Anna was treated twice in emergency rooms for injuries that were likely from abuse, explained Dr. Patricia Martinez. The explanations her father gave didn't quite make sense medically, but staff accepted them. We need medical professionals to be more suspicious and to investigate further when something doesn't add up. Child Protective Services improvements. Massachusetts CPS implemented reforms after their missed opportunity to protect Anna. Mandatory separate interviews with children away from alleged abusers. Enhanced training on recognizing when victims are too scared to disclose. Better investigation techniques for cases where victims deny abuse. Follow-up monitoring even when initial investigation doesn't find abuse. The CPS worker interviewed Anna with her father present, said CPS Director Jennifer Martinez. Anna was too terrified to disclose. We've changed protocols to ensure children are interviewed separately and given multiple opportunities to disclose in safe settings. Community awareness. Anna's case received significant media attention, raising public awareness about how common child abuse is. Experts estimate 1 in 7 children experience abuse. How abusers often appear normal and respectable. David was a successful attorney. Why victims don't disclose immediately. Fear, threats, shame, trauma bonding. What community members can do when they suspect abuse. David Parker looked like an upstanding citizen, explained domestic violence expert Dr. Lisa Park. Successful career, nice house, seemed normal to neighbors and colleagues. That's typical. Abusers are often charming in public. We need communities to understand that abuse happens behind closed doors, and victims need support, not judgment. 5 years after Marcus Williams found Anna's desperate note, both their lives had changed in ways neither could have imagined. Anna, now 20 years old, was a sophomore at Boston University, studying social work. She'd graduated from Lincoln High School with honors despite everything she'd endured, had been awarded a scholarship for abuse survivors, and was building a life she'd never imagined possible when she was trapped with her father. 5 years ago I was convinced I was going to die, Anna told an interviewer for a documentary about child abuse survivors. My father had strangled me and threatened to kill me. I wrote a note asking for help because I literally had no other option. I hid it in a school bathroom, hoping someone would find it. Mr. Williams found it. He saved my life. Anna described the 5 years since the trauma recovery, the therapy, rebuilding trust in adults after profound betrayal, finishing high school, starting college, discovering a passion for helping other abuse survivors. I'm not the same person I was at 15, Anna reflected. That girl who was being abused is gone. I'm someone who survived and is building a new life. My father tried to destroy me, but I refused to be destroyed. Every accomplishment, graduating, getting into college, making friends, having healthy relationships, is a victory against him. Anna had become an advocate for child abuse awareness, speaking at schools and community events about recognizing abuse and helping victims. Child abuse happens everywhere, in wealthy families, educated families, families that look perfect from outside. Anna told audiences, my father was a successful lawyer. We lived in a nice house. No one suspected he was beating and raping his daughter at home. We need communities to look beyond appearances and pay attention to warning signs.
Anna also emphasized the importance of believing victims. When I finally disclosed what was happening, some people didn't believe me. They thought I was lying or exaggerating. That's devastating for victims, to find courage to tell and then not be believed. We need to believe children when they disclose abuse and investigate thoroughly. Marcus Williams, now 61, had become a recognized advocate for school support staff's role in student safety. He'd worked with education departments across multiple states to develop training programs teaching custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, and other support staff to recognize concerning signs and report them. We're all part of the school safety team, Marcus told a conference of school maintenance workers. I'm a janitor. I clean floors and bathrooms. Students don't usually notice me, but that job puts me everywhere in the school building. I see things. I found Anna's note because I was cleaning a bathroom and paid attention to a piece of paper that could have been just trash. That attention to detail saved her life. Marcus's training programs emphasized that everyone in a school, regardless of their official role, had opportunities to notice and help struggling students. You might overhear a concerning conversation. You might notice a student who seems scared or injured. You might find a note like I did. Whatever you observe, report it. Trust your instincts. It's better to report concerns that turn out to be nothing than to ignore concerns that turn out to be abuse. The training programs Marcus helped develop reached over 100,000 school support staff members and led to dozens of documented cases where custodians, cafeteria workers, or bus drivers identified students in danger and helped connect them with help. The Morrison family, Anna's foster parents, had officially adopted Anna when she was 17. Linda and James Morrison became her permanent family, giving Anna the stability and love she'd been denied in her father's house. Anna came to us broken and terrified. Linda Morrison reflected. She'd been through hell, but she's also incredibly resilient. Watching her heal and grow over 5 years has been one of the greatest privileges of our lives. She's our daughter now, and we're so proud of who she's become.
Anna maintained relationships with key people who'd helped save her. She visited Marcus Williams regularly, considering him a kind of grandfather figure. She stayed in touch with Rachel Chen, the school counselor who'd supported her through initial disclosure and school reintegration. She continued therapy with Dr. Patricia Santos, processing ongoing trauma while building a healthy future. David Parker remained in prison serving his life sentence. He'd made several appeals claiming his conviction was unjust, but all appeals had been denied. He continued to maintain his innocence and blame Anna for destroying his life. David Parker has never taken responsibility for his actions, said prosecutor Jennifer Martinez. He continues to portray himself as the victim and Anna as a liar. That's typical for abusers. They rarely admit wrongdoing or show genuine remorse. He deserved every day of the sentence he's serving. Anna had made peace with the fact that her father would never acknowledge what he'd done or apologize. I used to want him to admit it, to say he was sorry, Anna told her therapist. But I've accepted that's never going to happen. He's incapable of taking responsibility. I can't wait for an apology that will never come. I have to move forward without it. 10 years after Marcus Williams found a crumpled note behind a bathroom mirror, Lincoln High School held a commemorative event honoring the case that had changed so many lives and sparked nationwide reforms. Anna Parker Morrison, now 25 and a licensed social worker specializing in trauma survivors, spoke to a packed auditorium of students, staff, and community members. 10 years ago, I was a terrified 15-year-old girl being abused by my father, Anna said. I'd been trapped for 3 years with no escape. My father had strangled me and threatened to kill me. I genuinely believed I was going to die, so I wrote a note asking for help, and I hid it in a school bathroom, hoping against hope that someone would find it and care enough to help me. Anna described writing the note in her bathroom at home after her father had assaulted her, her hands shaking, tears blurring the words, convinced this desperate act was her last chance. I didn't know if anyone would find the note. I didn't know if they'd take it seriously if they did find it. I was just desperate and out of options. That note was me screaming for help when I had no voice. Anna looked at Marcus Williams seated in the front row, now 66 years old and recently retired from his janitor position. Mr. Williams found my note. He read it, and instead of dismissing it as teenage drama or deciding it wasn't his business, he immediately brought it to the principal. That decision to pay attention to a crumpled piece of paper and take it seriously saved my life. If he'd thrown away that note, I'd probably be dead. My father was escalating toward murder, and I had maybe days, maybe hours left. Anna described the 10 years since the rescue, the foster placement and adoption, the years of therapy, graduating high school and college, becoming a social worker, building a life her 15-year-old self couldn't have imagined. I've spent the last decade healing from what my father did to me. I've had to learn to trust adults again after my own father betrayed me. I've had to process trauma that will always be part of me, but I've also built a good life. I have a family who loves me, the Morrisons, who fostered and then adopted me. I have a career helping other trauma survivors. I have friends, relationships, hope for the future. I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. And none of that would exist if Mr. Williams hadn't found my note and cared enough to act on it. One person paying attention, one person choosing to get involved instead of looking away, that changed everything. Marcus Williams spoke after Anna, his voice emotional. 10 years ago, I was just doing my job, cleaning a bathroom like I'd done thousands of times before. I found a piece of paper and I read it. That simple act, reading instead of throwing away, led to saving Anna's life and starting changes that have protected thousands of other children. Marcus reflected on the decade since. I've been called a hero, but I don't feel like one. I just read a note and reported it. What I've learned is that heroism isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just paying attention, noticing things that seem wrong, trusting your instincts, taking action when you see someone needs help. That's what I did. That's what any of us can do. Marcus described the decade of advocacy work, the training programs, the hundreds of support staff he'd taught to be observant and willing to report concerns. Anna's case taught me that everyone in a school matters. Teachers matter, obviously, counselors matter, but janitors matter too. Bus drivers matter. Cafeteria workers matter. Everyone who interacts with students has opportunities to notice when something's wrong and help. We all need to be paying attention, because somewhere in every school there might be another Anna, someone desperate for help, looking for anyone who'll notice and care. The event concluded with the dedication of the Anna Parker Morrison Student Safety Initiative, a comprehensive program providing multi-tetub, wenderval of mental, widem kundratats, rach and umori, mental healthful windavil talk. Anonymous reporting systems, trained peer advocates, coordination between school, law enforcement and social services, community education about recognizing and reporting abuse. Anna's suffering led to changes that have protected thousands of children, said Principal Morrison, no relation to Anna's adoptive family, who'd led the school through the crisis 10 years earlier. The protocols we implemented after Anna's case have been adopted nationwide. They've resulted in earlier identification of abuse, more victims getting help, and undoubtedly saved lives. That's Anna's legacy, using her trauma to prevent other children from experiencing similar suffering. After the ceremony, Anna and Marcus stood together in the hallway where Marcus had found Anna 10 years ago after noticing her desperate note. "This is where I saw you that day," Marcus said. "You were hurrying past, wearing a hoodie, looking terrified. I didn't know then that you'd just hidden a note asking for help. I didn't know your father had tried to kill you the night before. I just saw a scared kid. And a few minutes later you found my note and called for help," Anna said. "Mr. Williams, you gave me 10 years I wouldn't have had. You gave me the chance to heal, to build a life, to become someone who helps other people survive trauma. Every good thing in my life exists because you paid attention to a piece of paper and cared enough to act on it." They stood together in comfortable silence, a school janitor and the young woman whose life he'd saved, reflecting on a decade since one desperate note and one observant man had intersected to change everything. 10 years, one crumpled note hidden behind a bathroom mirror, one janitor who read instead of discarding, one immediate report that triggered a rescue, one 15-year-old girl saved from murder, one violent predator imprisoned for life, nationwide reforms protecting vulnerable children, thousands of cases identified earlier because of heightened awareness, a profession transformed to recognize everyone's role in student safety, one desperate plea written in fear, one maintenance worker who noticed and cared, one moment that became an enduring legacy of protection. That was always enough, more than enough, everything.
Thank you very much for listening. Please let us know what you think of this story in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any other videos.